I am so excited to be here with you guys, and I also want to extend gratitude to each and every single one of you for being here and everyone that watches it on the replay. Thank you so much. Now, today I'm going to give you guys a geopolitical update. I'm going to go over what the White Hats are doing in terms of preventing the deep state from initiating another lock touchdown, if you guys know what I mean. Plan DEMIC. They are trying, but to no avail. And I'm also going to be talking a little bit about the transformation of Homo sapiens sapiens into Homo luminous per my thumbnail. So yeah, today's going to go deep, guys. We're going to start with the geopolitical update. We're going to go into the White Hats and Trump's, ability to stop what they would call the next plan epidemic. So with that in mind, I do want to remind you guys, for those that are interested in cleaning their bodies out from all the bad things, radiation, toxicity, parasites, heavy metals, graphene, all of that. There is a holistic product that I always put in the description by the name of Folium, okay? Folium PX, and then Folium Relax and Folium Immuna. The link is always in my description. Okay, let's get right to it. So, President Trump has ordered an investigation into Joe Biden's mental fitness, and he's reported use of an auto pen for signing official documents. Newly uncovered financial records have shown that Jeffrey Epstein invested about $40 million in two Valor Ventures funds, co-founded by billionaire Peter Thiel, which have since grown to nearly about $170 million in value. President Trump said he had a 75-minute call with Putin, who stated very strongly that he will respond to Ukraine's large-scale drone strike. So what's happening here is that the war is not against the Ukraine. The war is between the globalists through NATO and independent Russia. Okay, Russia is part of the alliance. So at this point, bear in mind that everything is theatrical. Trump's calling Putin crazy about a week ago, Putin trying to initiate a heavier attack on Ukraine is about a war between what's left of the globalists through NATO and, of course, the alliance. But bear in mind, like I said before, guys, this is going to escalate to the point where they will you could say, sound the sirens. But at that point, some miracle is going to happen. I believe that the Galactics will be intervening, which is even better for us, because at that point, everyone on the planet will know that we were never alone in the universe. So maybe this whole thing between Putin and NATO, let's just face it, is being orchestrated by intelligences beyond the three-dimensional level of reality in order to initiate first contact. So, as you guys know, this planet is not allowed to have a nuclear holocaust. It is forbidden by galactic protocol. Furthermore, let's continue here. Elizabeth Warren says that RFK Jr. could drive large-scale drone strikes. Okay, Elizabeth Warren says that RFK could drive. Elizabeth Warren says that RFK could drive, starts with the V, right? Manufacturers into bankruptcy, which would leave no one able to get that, including the little kids when they're born. All right, so President Trump fires the three top pro-Israel officials, Mary Karen, Eric Trager, and Morgan Ortagus, amid rift with Netanyahu, reportedly over their pro-Israel views. I mentioned this before, and I mention it again. Trump was only close to Netanyahu in the last 5 years to get closer to his enemy, knowing that the Khazarian mafia, which is also controlled by the Zionist, whatever you want to call them, they're about to go down, guys. So President Trump is, again, making sure that he fires these people that have been in cahoots with Netanyahu. In addition to all this, President Trump's Justice Department is now investigating pardons Joe Brandon issued in the final days in his office, including those granted to his family, right, and death row inmates. Now, Trump also tweeted, like I mentioned in the last update, that the real Joe Brandon was taken out in 2020. The real Joe Brandon has been taken out since 2020. What we are witnessing and what we've been seeing since 2020 is very complicated advanced robotoids, inorganic cyborg slash genetics with biologics, you could say. So how this works is Trump admitted that these are robots. They're robotics using real mask in order to look human. And I've been saying this for years. I've been saying that the people that we see today, the big Gates, Dr. Doom, right? Starts with an F. You guys know who I'm talking about. As well as everyone that we see, all the players, the WEF, Klaus Schwab, the replacement of Klaus Schwab, including the latest Pope. They have all been replaced by robots that have used synthetic human layers to look human. That was now validated by no other than Mr. T. Again, the dark forces, at the highest level of the dark forces, we are being invaded by what is known as negative invasive AI, known as the Animus, and this information has been validated in the highest level of classification within the NSA, known as the Cordium Group, which is an aspect, a secret society within the Advanced Contact of Intelligent Organization. Okay, it's an Advanced Contact of Intelligent Organization. Now, I'm not going to get too much deep into that. I want to give you guys a little update as to what's happening with the alliance, stopping the deep state from initiating another lockdown with another, VIRS, right? So let me get started on that. Hope you guys are having a fantastic, beautiful Wednesday. So, in this ongoing covert war, because it is a covert war, right? The alliance has been duking it out with the deep state from behind the scenes. President Donald J. Trump has emerged once again as a key figure in blocking the globalist agenda from reasserting control through fear-based tactics and bioengineering warfare, okay? With the memories of C-19, 2019, right? Plan still fresh, intelligent reports circulating among alternative sources suggest that the deep state had planned a second wave, a far deadlier one, engineered to create widespread chaos, justify new lockdowns, and initiate further control over the global population through biometric tracking, mandatory, right, and digital ID infrastructure. Yet, thanks to the counter efforts of Trump and the White Hat Alliance, these plans are being systematically dismantled. Okay, so apparently the deep state's last ditch to offset the EBS, to prevent the GCR, to block the QFS from fully reaching every bank, is to initiate another lockdown. But it's not going to happen thanks to the alliance. Okay, the deep state's desperation for control is that, okay, and it's not going to happen. So after failing to maintain control through economic manipulation, mass censorship, and psychological operations, the deep state has turned to its last resort again, which is to initiate an even deadlier plan, Mick, right? Even the one that was more deadlier, well, that one wasn't even deadly. That was like a cold or a regular, flu, C-19, right? So leaks from whistleblowers within high-level institutions and biotech firms suggest that several variants of modified pathogens engineered with gain-of-function technology were in advanced stages of development, intended for strategic release in late 2024 or early 2025. Okay? The goal was clear, guys, to reset the global narrative, impose emergency powers, suspend elections, and reestablish a climate of compliance and dependency. Very similar, but worse now than 2019. And it's so funny that they're trying to do it again when Mr. T is in office. Okay. Let's just call him Trump. Okay. All right. So this strategy closely mirrors the tactics used during the C-19, plan, ick. But this time, the global public is far skeptical in the alliance, an international coalition of military intelligence with sovereign leaders represented by over 106 nations and whistleblower networks, has mobilized the greatest strength, foresight, and coordination. So Trump and the alliance strike first. They did strike first because through looking glass technology, which is an ability to see probable future timelines, they were able to foresee what would have been known as the second global lockdown. So at the center of this resistance, Donald J. Trump, no longer just a former US president, Trump now operates as a de facto leader of the global alliance, using his network of loyalists within the military, intelligence communities, private sectors, and alternative media to expose, block, and neutralize the deep state's biological warfare plans. Okay. Trump is not working alone, as you guys know, right? He's being backed by high-ranking generals. I've already mentioned the 12 generals using their code name and their function in about 109 countries, as opposed to NATO, right? Military scientists and rogue operatives from once compromised institutions like the CDC and the NIH, who have detected from, of course, who had defected from, of course, the globalist narrative. Okay. So under his guidance, covert operations have been launched against key deep state biolabs around the globe, including Ukraine, Taiwan, and certain African nations. Labs often funded through shadow budgets and operated by globalist NGOs under the guise of humanitarian health missions. These facilities have linked to the same network exposed during the C-19 cover UP and have been dismantled, right? Their data confiscated and their senior personnel either arrested or placed under surveillance. Trump's team has already intercepted shipments of viral payloads intended to aerosol dispersal and seize components used in smart, starts with the V, right? That's stuff they put in your body, technology that would create a new wave of digital enslavement through graphene, OXID, right? Which is the stuff that Folium deletes from your body, neural tracking, and programmable DNA editing. Legal and informational warfare, while kinetic operations have played a major role, Trump has deployed legal and information warfare strategies to prevent his second biowar event. He has publicly questioned the motives behind pandemic preparedness, drills being run by agencies like the WHO and, of course, the Gates Foundation, who, by the way, he stopped funding, and that's the reason why they met about 2 months prior to the election. They did meet in private, and Trump pretty much cut all the funding to the Gates Foundation. Gates wasn't too happy about that, okay? Calling them out as thirsty, not calling them out as thinly veiled attempts to normalize another outbreak scenario. So by empowering state governors, attorney generals, and grassroots movements, Trump has activated a decentralized resistance to any future lockdown attempts. Through platforms like Truth Social and underground military channels, Trump and his media allies have seeded awareness of these false flags, bioterrorism plots before they can even be executed. All right. So leaked documents, whistleblower interviews, and digital footprints from synthetic biology firms have been used to shift public sentiment and put corrupt players under intense scrutiny. Okay, under intense scrutiny. We have to see the bigger picture here, guys. We have to see the bigger picture. Many of us are frustrated because we've been hearing about the UBS for years, but this is a chess game. This is a 5-dimensional chess game. We're dealing with a new quantum era. we're dealing with the disintegration and complete collapsing of the third dimensional Earth reality. Okay, so we have to see the bigger picture. The Earth Alliance is real, and they have been doing everything in their power to stop the cabal from engineering a doomsday scenario. Okay, so behind Trump stands the broader Earth Alliance, okay, which is a coalition, again, of not only military generals, defectors of three-letter agencies, um, people, generals, and leaders from over 109 nations. So it is a global coalition of patriots, people that do not want to be controlled by centralized government, people that want independency, people that want their own sovereignty, okay? And most importantly, there are different levels of the alliance. You have those that are spiritually awakened individuals who have psychic abilities, okay? And of course, those that are very advanced spiritually, those are the top. They are above the generals, okay? Those are the ones that have abilities that we could fathom, but the average person could not. Okay, they have telekinesis. They have the ability to influence people's minds from the distance. And they do use, by the way, portal technology and advanced ET technology, even within the alliance. Okay. And then above the alliance, of course, we have positive extraterrestrial allies that are working to liberate humanity from thousands of years of control. Okay. So Trump, for being an isolated figure, does represent the public face of this multi-dimensional operation, right? The light has already won in the higher dimensions, as explained in my book, Our Cosmic Origin. The light forces always begin the house cleansing from the top down, okay? It turns out, for those that are in Our Cosmic Origin course, you will find out that this entire war, that the Bible calls the war in heaven, right, began all the way up in the 11.5 dimension. And since the 11.5 dimension, the forces of light have been narrowing the battle down to the lowest dimension, right? So we have already won the war. It's just playing out. And yes, don't lose faith. This is the year that we're going to be witnessing something big happening. Summer is the key. Okay, summer is the big event. Okay, the deep state's attempt to lock humanity down against is more than a public issue, right? It is a spiritual war for the future of human consciousness. And that is a spiritual war that is in turn being manipulated by archon entities, right? Which is the embodiment of the Antichrist. So Trump's role in stopping another plan, Mick, is not just a political one. It is a symbolic of the awakening that is taking place across the earth. Every intercepted, vi, that stuff that we breathe that gets us sick by our US, and every blocked lockdown, every exposed false flag is another victory for the light over the darkness, okay? Because what we're really fighting here, guys, is totalitarianism. Fascism is implemented through artificial intelligence. Let's just be real. So the final act is now approaching, okay? The attempt to release another US that stuff that gets people sick, has failed because Trump and the alliance have preemptively struck, unraveling the plan before it could even materialize. So with each passing day, their narrative of the deep state has lost momentum. Their tricks are known, their agents have been exposed, and their laboratories have been seized. Humanity stands at the threshold of a new age, one where fear no longer controls the masses, and truth is the new currency of freedom. Trump's mission, as guided by the alliance, is not only to make America great again, but to make the entire world sovereign, healthy, and free from the shadows of manipulation. And as the cabal's grip weakens, the dawn of the golden age grows ever, ever stronger. Okay? And what is all this leading to, right? We talk about the golden age, but have you guys ever heard of the term the golden race? The rise of Homo luminous. That's right. So everything that's happening right now, guys, by the dark forces is to prevent the original prophecies from unfolding, right? Which is the emergence of Homo luminous, which is Really, the transformation of humans into physical human angels with light bodies, with abilities. Okay. Um, the human race apparently has been undergoing an unprecedented transformation, transcends biology, technology, and even history itself. This transformation is not merely social or cultural, but deeply spiritual and multidimensional. So we are in the midst of an evolutionary leap from Homo sapiens to Homo luminous, which is a new species of humans that lives not just in the physical world, but also in higher planes of consciousness, embodying more of the light, energy, and divine intelligence. So, what is Homo luminous? Some of you might ask, what is Homo luminous? Well, Homo luminous refers to a being of light, an awakened human who has activated their full spiritual, energetic, and multidimensional potential. The term was popularized by spiritual visionaries and ancient shamans who spoke of a time when humans would evolve beyond their linear time, fear, and density, stepping into their true nature as divine creators. And unlike Homo sapiens, right, which was a downgraded version of an already existing Homo luminous during the days of Atlantis, let's be real here, who operated, okay, so unlike Homo sapiens, right, who operate primarily from survival instincts and limited perception due to the hybridization programs conducted by Enki, the master geneticist, when he had mixed the real, Terranusian Atlantean race genetics with Homo erectus to create a slave race. That's how Homo sapiens were created. Let's be real here, guys. We were lied to by the Saqqara Sitchin. We've been lied to by the ancient Sumerian tablets. Okay? So Homo luminous are beings who live in resonance with the frequency of love, unity, and cosmic intelligence. They no longer rely solely on the five senses, but operate with expanded awareness, telepathy, intuition, multidimensional memory, and the ability to transmute reality through focused intent. And this is one of the things that I teach my students in my Ascension courses. I teach you guys how to become Homo luminous. I teach you guys that. So let's continue here. So Homo luminous, again, they are the blueprint of the next stage of evolution. They mark the blueprint, and it is through the activation of our dormant DNA. Okay, so science has long acknowledged that about over 90% of human DNA is considered junk because its function was unknown. However, ancient traditions and modern spiritual science reveals that this dormant DNA is not junk. It is divine. It is divine, guys, right? Why do you think we only use 3 to 4%? Because the other 96% of our untapped genetic material is divine. We are walking spiritual giants. We are. It contains the codes for our higher evolution, our hidden abilities, and our cosmic lineage. So the shift to Homo luminous involves the reactivation of the dormant DNA, often triggered by solar activity, ascension energies, light codes from the galactic center, and internal practices such as meditation, fasting, breath work, and heart centered living. These activations awaken latent spiritual gifts like clairvoyance, healing abilities, astral projection, and my favorite, multi or inter rather, which is similar to multi, but interdimensional awareness. This is where we begin to use beyond the five senses. All right. I was told that there are over 100 senses, guys. Once we begin to use the other 96 of our dormant genetics, we will be operating with senses that go from 10 to 100, depending on how much potential we use. Okay. So a lot of this, a lot of these transformations, let's just say it like this unprecedented moment of transformation, right, from Homo sapiens to Homo luminous, is being played by the sun's energy. The sun is a cosmic being, right? So it's important to understand that there's a huge role that the sun is conducting right now, and of course in collaboration with cosmic energies, right? Which is again causing the transformation. And this has happened before. There are many evidences, many instances, especially in a lot of those records that were left out of the canonization processes or were left out of circulation or were burned, with the Library of Alexandria that talked about this new era that was going to be witnessing the rise of Homo luminous. So this transformation is being catalyzed by powerful cosmic forces. Our solar system, which is, by the way, sitting at a very important, you could say, at a very important spot within the multiverse. Okay, there's something special about our solar system, and a lot of it has to do with planet Earth. All right, so our solar system is currently aligning within the photon belt and entering a highly charged region in the galaxy. A cycle long predicted by ancient Mayans, Vedic astrologers, and Andean shamans. So, as Earth observes more photon light, the vibrational frequencies of the planet are increasing, okay? Because everything is embedded with photon energy, right? Even your cells, according to Dr. Bruce Limpton, our cells are exerting energy, biophotons, in other words. So, when the vibrational frequency of the planet rises, the molecular structure of your genetic you could say organs are being also infused with more photonic light because of the photon belt that we're entering, and that is forcing all life to adapt or to fall away, which explains the separation, right? For those that don't make the ascension, they won't be ending up in the positive timeline. Okay, so this ascension window is causing a purification at every level, not just physical, mental, emotional, physical, and of course, spiritual. Okay. So, what does that mean? That means that all traumas and karmic patterns are surfacing to be healed at this time, while new frequencies are streaming to elevate human consciousness. Those who are attuned to these energies are experiencing profound upgrades, what some call the light body activation. And I go more into detail in my ascension courses, by the way. So, light body and multidimensional awareness. Let's talk about that a little bit. The light body, or Merkaba, is the energetic vehicle of the Homo luminous being. It is a crystalline matrix of consciousness that allows humans to operate simultaneously in multiple dimensions. So what does that mean? That means that we're here, we're there, we're everywhere. Technically, we are. All right? Just like the double slit experiment, right? It is only through the observation, the act of the observation, that the wave function collapses into a particle. As the light body becomes fully activated, individuals gain the ability to access higher realms of existence, communicate with galactic beings, heal instantly, and consciously shape the reality through vibration. The multidimensional awareness dissolves the illusion of separation in time. The Homo luminous humans knows that they are not just a body or a personality, but a soul essence, eternally connected to source, co-creating with the universe through frequency and intention. And I teach you guys how to do that in my ascension courses. Ancient prophecies have been fulfilled and will be fulfilled. Okay. We are fulfilling it right now as I speak. Right. And these prophecies, guys, they come from every corner of the earth. Right. They all speak of a time of transformation, from the Hopi, right, who spoke of the emergence of the fifth world, where humans would become beings of light, to the Cuero shamans of Peru that predicted that a new species, Homo luminous, would rise after a great cleansing. Not to mention in the Vedas, ancient India, right? The concepts of the Satya Yuga, or the Golden Age, foretells of the return of divine humans living in harmony with cosmic laws. And even early in Gnostic and Essene writings, which were the original teachings, right? the Essenes and the Gnostics had the original spiritual knowledge, right? Which again was adopted from the ancient Emerald records that Thoth had access to and ultimately corrupted. So every ancient Gnostic text, every Essene writing that has ever been written by the community of Qumran, which was the real, you could say, spiritual order of light associated with Jesus the Christ, Mary Magdalene, John the Baptist, Joseph of Arimathea, Martha, and you could say Mary of Bethany, James the Just, Peter, and all of their followers. They all had access to this information, right? Which hinted that the human body was designed to transfigure into the light body and ascend into the realms of the divine. And what was once reserved for saints and mystics is now becoming the collective destiny of an awakened species. Okay, so what are some of the symptoms that we are undergoing this transformation? Well, for me, is I used to sleep 8 to 9 hours a night my whole life. And for the last 4 months, guys, my body could only sleep 5 to 6 hours. I don't know why. So that means that my body's changing to the point where I only need about 5 hours of sleep at night. Okay. So that's part of a symptom, right? Higher evolved beings don't sleep 8 hours a night, right? Like the Telosians, the Pleiadians, the Venusians. Do you guys know how long they sleep, or it's required for them to sleep at night? Only 2 hours. Higher intelligences that are operating from fifth dimensional reality only are required to sleep 2 hours. That's it. And their bodies are fully refreshed. They only need 2 hours to fully regenerate and recharge. So the fact that we are no longer, for those of us that are having this symptom, is because your body's becoming more light, right? You no longer need a full 8-hour rest to regenerate and get a fresh start. And as we continue to transform into this new species, Homo luminous, we're eventually only going to be sleeping 2 hours. That's it, within a 24-hour day period, okay? So as humanity shifts into Homo luminous, many individuals are experiencing rapid changes, including heightened sensitivity to energy, right? That's been happening to me. You know, I'm going to just be honest with you guys. My grandmother just passed away a few days ago, and about a month and a half prior to her passing, God told me that she was going to leave this June. And so I was able to receive that, foresight, prophecy ahead of time. And lo and behold, so I kind of already knew. I was already preparing myself for my grandmother passing. Okay. So that's an example of having heightened sensitivity to energy. You guys foresee things before they happen. You guys feel things. You guys are able to read energy much better. Not to mention lucid dreaming, guys. Lucid dreaming. All right. I've been hearing it all the time. People's dreams are becoming more vivid. Very hard to distinguish from what's real anymore. Okay. And then, of course, astral travel. And despite the fact that we already astral travel when our body rests, guys, imagine consciously remembering where you went when your body is sleeping. It's going to be happening as we become more light body. Okay. Not to mention spontaneous healing or intuitive insights. Okay. For instance, if you cut yourself or if you get a bruise, you're going to notice that you're going to be healing faster now because your body's becoming more light. So spontaneous healing or and intuitive insights is a big part of this transformation, right? And then, of course, disinterest in materialism or conflict. Okay. I have no interest in materialism, right? My lovey could be a witness of that. When it comes to material things, it's like I could care less. I'm more into spirituality, knowledge, and wisdom. Okay. Or conflict. I try to avoid conflict as much as I can. Right. I am not a confrontational person. I will never, shout or yell or scream. That's just not who I am. Okay. So as you become more light body, you will have less interest in materialism. Things that are material, that are part of the 3D, won't matter to you as much. And of course, conflict won't leave it. You're just going to try to avoid it as much as possible. Okay. Also, cravings for natural foods, organic foods, right? High-vibing foods, healthy foods, foods that are still alive and that are real, of course, not fake food. Solitude, times where you just want to be by yourself, right? Become a hermit. That is a sign that you are becoming homo luminous. And spiritual practices, okay? Spiritual practices. And then, of course, other signs or symptoms is having more awareness of your past lives and star origins, okay? And like I said, the more we become luminous, right, as we are undergoing this transformation, more of our memories are going to be rushing back. Not to mention vibrational dissonance with fear-based systems. What does that mean? That means that you are detaching vibrationally to the fear-based systems that no longer have control or power over you, right? Third dimensional scenarios, situations. These are not anomalies, guys. These are actually signs that you guys are transforming, ascending, the flowering of human potential as we shed the old and rise into the new. It had always been predicted in every ancient account, right? And all of this is actually leading into what is known as humanity's role in the galactic community. So, as human luminous, we are not just becoming more evolved humans, guys. We are becoming cosmic citizens. This transformation is preparing humanity to join an interstellar family of enlightened civilizations. Like I said before, within the private sector, the Earth delegates have been approved by the United Federation of Planets, which is comprised of 600 to 800 worlds that are operating within our local star cluster. Okay, the Earth has already received entry into that since 2002, I believe. So, within the private sector, the Earth is already an interstellar civilization. Now we have to bring this information to humanity so that it can be in the open sector, right? Our light bodies act as antennas also, all right, allowing us to communicate with galactic alliance members, the Arcturians, Sirians, the Pleiadians, the Alpha Centaurians, the Hadarians, the Venusians, just to name a few, and many other benevolent star nations who are actually guiding the evolution from behind the veil. Which, of course, many of these positive benevolent ETs have always been considered the angelics in every ancient culture and in every holy book. So Earth, once isolated and quarantined, right, due to the dark forces taking over the Earth, during the times of Atlantis, thanks to Enki Poseidon and his son Marduk Belial Baal, Satan, so after being isolated and quarantined because of that, the Earth is now emerging as a star nation in her own right. And this is where the Alliance is playing a huge role, as they are the third dimensional movers and players of the multidimensional operation. Think about it. And humanity, the once forgotten child of the cosmos, is being remembered as the key to the great cosmic experiment. And yes, guys, we are a cosmic experiment. For those in my course, Our Cosmic Origin, you're going to be in for a lot of information. A race destined, that's us, to merge spirit and matter, heaven and earth. So the dawn of Homo Luminous, right, the transformation into Homo Luminous, is not just a prophecy. It is a process that is already underway. It is happening through our cells, right? We are transforming, mutating at the cellular level. It is a process that is taking place in our consciousness, right? We are shifting into higher levels of awareness due to the higher influx of energies that are bombarding us through the solar flares, right? Causing our vibrational frequency to continue rising. And of course, our collective awakening, right? Because according to the 100 Monkey Syndrome, also known as the Maharishi effect, when a certain percentage of the human race reaches a certain vibrational frequency rate, it causes everybody on the planet to reach that rate automatically. All right. And they've done a lot of scientific experiments that I think it only takes about 10%. Once 10% of humanity reaches a certain frequency rate, it automatically shifts the entire collective consciousness into that new vibrational frequency, or shift into that new higher reality. Okay. We are becoming beings of light, guys. And as you read, for those who read our cosmic origin, we originated as beings of light, right? And through the process of involution, which is the deceleration of frequency of light becoming denser and denser, we actually became matter eventually as we dropped into the fourth and third dimension. But again, matter exists in all realities all the way up to the 11th dimension. Beyond the 11th dimension is it's plasma, right? We become plasma beings. We no longer need physical form, although we can materialize physical form. But under the 11th dimension, there are different, more refined states of matter, more subtle, not as gross or as dense as the ones in the lower vibrations or lower dimensions, but more where it's like more light, okay? So the higher we move in vibration, the more light we become, but still retain physical form. That explains why angels and archangels always appear in physical form. They are beings that are actually decelerating their vibrational frequency from the 10th, 11th, and 12th dimension, 7, 8, and 9, also, those are the angelics, into the 4th and 5th or 3rd so that we could see them physically. And so that's all they do. It is a natural technology known as energy manipulation through thought frequency modulation. Okay, through your thoughts and your emotions, you're able to actually change the vibrational frequency of your own state, allowing you to fall into lower densities and then rise back up at will by raising your energy back up. So that's how we're going to become multidimensional. It is happening through our cells, our consciousness, and our collective awareness. All right, we are becoming beings of light, not by escaping the world, because we're not going anywhere, guys. We're not going anywhere. The new earth is already here. It is already here, vibrating and existing in a different dimension. All we're doing is just shifting into what's already around us, but in a different reality. Think about that. You guys think that motherships are going to come and teleport us when this world goes kaboom? Not at all. Okay, not at all. We are becoming beings of light, guys, and not by escaping this world, but by embodying divinity in every moment, every breath, and every thought. Okay, this is the next step in human evolution. Right? This is the next step in human evolution. The age of Homo sapiens is ending. Right? So we are living in what is called post-Homo sapiens, a post-Homo sapien era. So the age of Homo luminous is dawning, right? Which is characterized, right? Beings of love, light, and infinite potential. And that is already beginning through us. Guys, this is a perfect time to stop being negative, stop being judgmental, stop the rumors. If you're still a person who likes to gossip about other, just stop. You don't need to do that because that's infringing your own ascension. The more you entertain ego, competence, needing to talk negative to somebody, judging somebody, the more you are preventing yourself from raising your frequency. You are staying stuck. Okay, that's why I don't approve negative comments. Right? My forum here is only open to those that are high vibing. That's it. I don't tolerate negative things. Okay, that's why when I read the comments, if somebody's saying something negative, of course I'm going to delete it because I don't accept that energy. All right. And you guys should also draw boundaries in your own lives with your family and friends at this point. So same thing. So this is the time to really walk the talk. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. This is the next stage in our evolution. The age of Homo sapiens is ending, guys. So because there is going to be a timeline split, you're either going to go Homo Borg. Let me tell you this. You don't want to go Homo Borg. Homo Borg is when humans become upgraded by merging with technology through sensors, through chips, and of course, fiber optics and cybernetics. You don't want to go Homo Borg. You don't want to become a cyborg. We are in the cusp of the ending of Homo sapiens, a post-Homo sapien era, and we're about to shift. And then, of course, there's going to be only 3 timelines. Right now, they're all coexisting, guys. So you don't want to end up in the Homo Borg timeline. You don't want to end up as a cyborg, because that's where the negative timeline is heading, right? That's where the negative timeline is heading, into the timeline of the cyborgs, okay? So you're either going to go up and become a Homo luminous, or you're going to go further down into a digital reality and become a cyborg, right? And with it comes the birthing of a new earth, a new reality, and a new destiny for humanity among the stars. Well, I do want to welcome all 2,577 people that are in the house. Susan K., thank you so much for that donation. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and open it up for Q&A.
You're doing amazing tonight, babe.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys, I've been under a lot of stress. A lot of things are happening in my life right now. I'm going through a huge transition, and I still take the time out to do the research, to put presentations together, and, give you guys my time, because I love what I do, and I love each and every single one of you. But at the same time, I would like for everyone to just pray for me and my lovey, because we are going through a transition, and we need all the prayers at this time. We need all the prayers. Let's see. I do want to, before I answer Q&A. Oh, I heard myself oh yeah, you guys like the little gray streak, huh? There it is. Look at that. That's kind of cool, huh? Yeah. I'm starting to look like that one superhero from Marvel Comics. I was told, at least. I see that Patricia Secha's in the house, Gabrielle F., Silver Earth Girl, Michelle Mediavilla, Greg Straub, Nina, Lee Starr, Cosmic Zale, Leah Arker, Robin is in the house, Meg is in the house, Joe Piscopo is in the house, Peggy Baker is in the house, Conspiratary is in the house, Overwhelmed 25-8 is in the house. Some of you guys have interesting YouTube names. Nightstar Power is in the house. Greg is in the house. Wolf Mother is in the house. Trenton Williams, Greg, and Roy Toys and Comics, and all 2,500 people that are in the house. Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
Lots of people are sending love and prayers and love hearts and emojis.
Oh, thank you guys for all the love.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, we are grateful for each and every single one of you guys. You guys are the only reason why I keep going, guys. Just because I'm a cosmic ambassador, galactic historian, does not mean I have challenges. Being in this 3-dimensional body, being human, it's almost like a prerequisite to have challenges being down here, So we all have these challenges. Life wasn't meant to be easy down here in the 3D. You guys capiche, right? It wasn't meant to be easy. So, but you know what? What the beauty of it all is that even when we go through something and we get through it and we persevere, we only bounce back stronger. Think about that. We only bounce back stronger. And this kind of reminds me, even though I don't agree with this philosophy, thank you, by the way, Dustin Husdak. This kind of reminds me of that famous quote from one of the philosophers that I used to study back in high school by the name of Friedrich Nietzsche. And Friedrich Nietzsche, who was the founder of nihilism, big influence on Hitler, of course, not one of my favorite philosophers anymore, right? Him and Karl Marx and Friedrich Hegel, the father of communism and fascism. I can't even stand those philosophers. But there was one quote that Friedrich Nietzsche came up with that even up to date, when I'm going through the dark night of the soul, through the deepest depressions, through the lowest points in my life, guys, what doesn't kill you will only make you stronger. And yeah, just remember that, guys. What doesn't kill you will only make you stronger. Okay? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take some Q&A here. Q&A. If you guys could do me a favor and just put all your questions in capital letters, that would be greatly appreciated, guys. You know, I think it was Valentina Sunshine. I don't know who reminded me of this. Several Galactic Jedis reminded me. I think they once put it in the chat and they said, the strongest souls have the greatest challenges. The strongest souls are the ones that the enemy is always after the most. And that makes a lot of sense. All right. Questions. I'm going to go ahead and take my first super chat of the evening. Shayla Radler. She says, Namaste, Ishmael. If the Golden Dome is ET gift, what will happen to all the new buildings in America? Is that negative timeline? Bless, sweet spirit. Thank you, Deanna V. Thank you, Deanna V, for that. That is a very good question, first of all. And the answer to that is nothing's going to happen to the buildings, right? The infrastructure, the buildings within America they're going to be, you could say, if anything, they're going to be more protected, guys. They're going to be more protected. So when the Golden Dome is completed, and I believe it's going to be completed at the end of 2026, 2027. It takes 2 to 3 years to build the Golden Dome. We are going to be shifting into a better world because that's going to give us free energy. It's going to give us free speech. By then, Starlink is going to be our new satellite system, our new internet provider, which is non-cabal. So everything's going to be a much better world when the Golden Dome is finally fully completed. Let's see. NPCs are programmed to come after us on a daily. Oh, that is so true. I just thought I'd say that. We are not the thoughts or feelings. We are souls. Great reminder. Great reminder. You see, you guys are full of wisdom yourselves. I like that. Can anything revoke a soul contract? That is a good question, Patricia Noble. Can anything revoke a soul contract?
You have to make a new decree.
Yeah, that's true.
Your contract, you decree it.
Yeah, I guess you have to make a new contract. That is so true. Thank you for sharing.
They make a decree with your name in it, like as if it's in,
So what you do to create a new soul contract is you actually make a decree by using your name, and that's how you create a new soul contract. And you have to be very bold about it too. Like really take it seriously when you do that. Let's see. What will the future media format look like? Well, from what I understand, Elon Musk 2.0, let me make that clarification, 2.0, not 1.0 or the clone of 1.0, but 2.0, is working on buying Fox News. And then from there, he's going to buy Facebook. He's going to buy, by buying Facebook, he's going to own Instagram. And he's also going to be buying YouTube. And eventually he's going to buy NBC, CNN, and all the other news networks. And I think I mentioned that for the first time a little less than a year ago. And again, this is coming from highly classified Earth Alliance intel. Well, I'll just tell you guys who gives me most of the intel, right? Commander Valiant Thor. See, Commander Valiant Thor is the main galactic liaison between what is called the United Federation of Worlds, right, which is a branch of the Galactic Alliance, and the Earth White Hat team. Okay, so he's the liaison between that. So that's my main source of information. Yes, the RVs are still scheduled to come. Yes, because again, this is a fifth dimensional warfare, guys, and we are pinning the cabal on every probable timeline. So it is inevitable. The golden age is inevitable, guys. Inevitable. So yes, the RV, the redistribution of the world's wealth is coming in the positive timeline, of course. This is another good question from Irish Jewel. Who decides if your frequency is high enough to ascend? Who decides if your frequency, what is this?
Stressful.
Oh, no, I'm good right now. Thank you. Who decides if your frequency is high enough to ascend for the fifth dimension? This is a question from Irish Jewel. And no, God source does. Actually, your higher self. It is your higher self, which is which is your Christ itself, right? Operating in technically the original Christ itself operates from the 12th dimension, not the fifth. The fifth dimension is a beginning level of Christedness, but there are much higher levels in the fifth dimensional Christed level. Okay, so your original self comes from the 12th dimension, which is what we would call your monad. Your monad is God. Okay, which is an aspect of source. Okay, within the holographic concept of reality, every part contains the whole. So the monad is the first dividing fractal from the one infinite creator. So it's source consciousness through your monad that decides, depending on your frequency, whether you go to the fifth dimension above or higher. I got another super chat from Natalie Bishop. Thank you so much. She says, "We love you. You are the best of all. We appreciate everything you do for us." Oh, thank you, Natalie. That really means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. Thank you, Elizabeth Juarez, for that donation. She says, "God bless you and yours." Thank you. Thank you. And then Trenton too. Williams, thank you. He says, "First, thank you for everything you do, and I will keep you in my prayers. If you end up being a first waver after the first flash and you start having ascended abilities, are going to tell us, or are we going to keep it quiet?" For the most part, for those that are going to be part of the first wave of ascenders, when you do activate your superhuman abilities, we're going to be coordinating things telepathically. So since we are, scattered all over the world, for the first waivers, I'm talking to you first waivers, we're going to be able to communicate telepathically. So we're going to know exactly what to do. We're going to be coordinating everything. We're going to be like a quantum computer, a natural organic quantum computer. And yes, because we are going to be doing a lot of heroic things, you could say that the Earth humans, the Terrans, are going to be seeing a whole new race of beings. It's going to be very similar to the X-Men. For those that have seen the X-Men by Marvel, it's going to be very similar to that. I just hope they don't call us mutants. I just hope they don't call us mutants. Anyways, all right, let's continue.
You should cover the red Kachina, the red planet, the orange planet people are saying.
Oh, I do want to acknowledge Starcadian for being my monitor. Thank you so much, Starcadian. You're doing a great job. So a big shout out to Starcadian, who has been smashing them robots, right? Smashing them robots. We have come to the conclusion that a lot of these world's people, because the originals were taken out, including Hillary, Bill Clinton, they were all taken out, guys, including Obama, all right, including, Big Mike, his husband. But everything we've been seeing now is just robots with dressed like humans, with human masks and everything. So I do want to give Starcadian an acknowledgement and a big shout out. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate your work here on my channel, keeping those negative vibes out of the way, right? All right. If you are baptized, are you in danger? Not at all. I've actually been baptized twice, believe it or not, guys. I was first baptized as a kid in the Catholic Church when I was a baby. And then I was baptized when I was 8 years old in the Mormon Church. So no, there's nothing wrong with being baptized. There's nothing wrong. Do you know when you'll be on with Jenny Lee? Yes, we've scheduled that for next Friday. So next Friday, not this Friday, tomorrow, 2 days from now, but the following Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time.
June 13th at 9 p.m. Central Time.
Oh, thank you. So June 13th at 9 p.m. Central Time, I will be a guest on the Jenny Lee Show.
It's at Jenny Lee channel on YouTube.
Yeah, June 13th. That's right, Sandra. Awesome. Yeah, I noticed that some of the Galactic Jedis listen to her. That's cool. Every now and then I'll just stop in here, here and there. Because Jenny's been my good friend for a couple of years now, and yeah, it's always great to collab with her. Yes, that's right. If anyone is moved to support my cause, I do have a Zelle through Project Restoration Zion at gmail.com. That is Project Restoration Zion at gmail.com. And again, guys, I don't have a Patreon. I don't have a subscription. So, for those that could help out, it's always grateful to receive donations. Thank you. All right, so I went ahead and I spelled out my email. For the Zelle. And also the super chats do help. All right, thank you so much, guys. I just got one from Luminous and Hara. She says, do you know which Trump is on the thank you so much? Do you meant to say on the positive timeline? I think you stopped when you said on the, and then you said thank you so much for all you do. Okay, so the Trump that is on right now is the double. The real Trump operates in Cheyenne Mountain. So the actor, which is not a robot, many people believe that, I don't want to say this, but some people believe that Elvis is playing the actor Trump. Elvis Presley could have faked his death. Who knows? But what we do know is that the real Trump is safe and secure in Cheyenne Mountain, and that the Trump that we see on the press, in the media, sitting at the Oval Office, that is the actor. That is an actor. So who knows if it's Elvis Presley? Who knows? But it's an actor, definitely. And then she says, news, he will be pardoning Diddy. No, that's not the Trump that's going to be pardoning Diddy. That is the negative Trump that, again, is created by the negative AI. This is a robotic Trump. So there is a robotic Trump that is trying to throw a monkey wrench in smearing his, the original Trump. The original Trump, okay? So yeah.
Greg? I know Greg's question, the answer to it.
Okay, hold on one second.
Did you get this one?
Hold on one second, guys. I'm texting my son. My son just called me. 1 second. All right. Alrighty, so I apologize for that. When my son, I think some of you guys have met him. He kind of popped his head in one day on a live. When he tells me he needs to talk to him, I needed to text him back and say if it's important, or if it's an emergency. And he said, no, it's not an emergency. Call me after your live. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys understand I was texting my son. I apologize for that. So let's continue here. I do have some super chats. One from Greg. He says, I has seen that Trump was sworn in at a private ceremony as the 19th president of the U.S. Republic. Why then is Trump the president of a defunct U.S. corporation? That is a good question, Greg. According to insiders, the real Trump was actually inaugurated a month and a half prior to January 22nd. Okay. And that's the reason why he did not put his hand on the Bible during the fake inauguration on January 22nd. So, in order to defy the U.S. defunct corporation. So, again, the real inauguration took place a month and a half prior to the 22nd of January. Okay. That's the reason, Greg, he didn't put his hand in the Bible. Good question, though. Next super chat by Sandy Kuzma. Prayers for you and Monica. When do you connect with Valiant Thor? Thank you for all you do. Much love to both of you. Thank you, Sandy Kuzma. I appreciate all that love. I connect with Valiant Thor, believe it or not, guys, on a daily basis. Right? It's almost like he's one of my guides, but there is, I'll say this, I've said this before and I'll say it again. There is a close connection between one of my many selves and Valiant Thor. That's all I'm going to say. He's been guiding me and protecting me for a very long time now. And again, he is the number one, you could say, primary liaison between the Earth Alliance, White Hats, and the United Federation of Worlds, which, again, whose headquarters is located on Jupiter, on a moon called Ganymede. All right, let's continue here. Ravenclaw, thank you so much. Pray for you. Thank you for all you do. Oh, you are so welcome, sister. Thank you. Thank you. So again, guys, for those that want to support my cause, I did type in my Gmail that is connected to my Zelle, and it goes directly into my bank account. And the next super chat is April Steer. She says, a reminder for everyone to ground barefoot at least 10 to 15 minutes daily. So true. So true. Thank you so much, April, for even reminding us of that. I guess, yeah, that's so true, right? At least 10 minutes, guys. And again, nature is our number one ally. Our cells are under attack and need to be grounded. That's true. Our cells are under attack and need to be grounded and charged by the earth. That is so, so truth. Because a lot of these solar flares that are bombarding us at this time is actually coming from the core of the earth. Because see, at the core of the earth, we also have what is called the crystalline sun. The crystalline sun is what sustains and gives universal life force to the inner earth civilizations, right? What we call the other continents that exist within the hollow earth, not outside of a wall. So all of those continents that Admiral Byrd depicted in his journal, in his diary, that many have, again, witnessed that were part of the SSP program, are located within the hollow earth. Wow, Patricia Noble, that was very noble of you. Are you aware of the upcoming great and terrible day of the Lord? Yes, that is what we're going to be experiencing as a collective pretty soon. The true meaning of that is what many call in Christianity Judgment Day, the Great Tribulation, where the wicked are going to be finally getting what they deserve, and the righteous are going to be exalted, which is another terminology for describing the ascension. Okay, so with that in mind, yes, guys, I am aware of the great, you could say, the dreadful day of the coming of the Lord. And again, that has a lot to do with the activation of our human potential. As we become Christed beings, we are going to have the powers and abilities to pretty much destroy the wicked, the negative entities, whatever is left behind are the reptilians, the archons. And as a reminder, guys, Father's Day is coming up. So what better gift to give your dad than a full body detox. Again, the Folium link is always in the description. So, yeah, the great and dreadful day of the Lord is upon us, guys. And that's why it's time for us to walk the talk, right? Walk the talk. Set boundaries. Don't tolerate negative people or people that are just bringing your frequency down, right? Don't tolerate that anymore. Coca Cortinova says, "You are the most real, you brother. I love you." Well, I love you too, Coca. Let's see. When is this financial relief? Good question from RFS. Again, because the Y hats have won the war on every probable timeline. We are going to be experiencing this financial relief. And let me guarantee you guys, it's not going to be very long. Okay. We are so close to it. Okay. We are closer to it now than we were in 2019. We are closer to it now than we were in 2022. We are closer to it now than we were in 2024. Okay. I believe that this is the year. Again, we're only in the first quarter of the year, entering the second quarter. So we just have to have more faith that God is the ultimate boss of all the multidimensional forces, right? Even the galactics answer to God, right? On every level of reality. And we have to have faith that we are destined for a better tomorrow. So why is the negative Trump allowed to do anything? Good question from Sam Sid. Man, you guys are asking some really good questions tonight in the media and the White House. Well, again, that is all theatrical. It is a AI generated Trump wearing a real human mask. All right. Like I mentioned before, Hillary, the Big Gates, Dr. Doom, Klaus Schwab, all those peckers. I don't even know if I'm using the right words, peckers. All those peckers. They're robots, guys. They just look human because they're wearing human flesh, like mask over the insides are all mechanical and circuits. If you were to take Joe Brandon right now, right? And by the way, the fact that he's dying from prostate cancer is it's just like a false flag cover up. Robots don't get prostate cancer. They just want people to feel sorry for him. But the whole point is this, guys. When you tear off the flesh, what you're going to be seeing is electrical circuits, right? Camel toe Harry is electrical circuits inside. Hillary Clinton, notice that I call her Hillary. Well, you guys know why she's called Hillary Clinton, right? Because she ordered the death of many people. Yes, she ordered a lot of people to be. She's worse than the mafia. That's why we call her Hillary. Anyways, okay, let's continue. Let's see. Wow, this year is going to be super fast. Yes. Also we have to consider the time is accelerating. So we have to incorporate the factor of this acceleration of time. As we move closer to this point, this nexus point, which is many call the shift of the ages, the multidimensional integration convergence, we're going to be reaching what is known as zero port. That's where everything goes back to starting from zero. So we're no longer going to be counting 2027, 2028, 2030. No. The entire calendar is going to change and be something different. Vicky Clark says, "Thank you, Ishmael, for all you do." Hi, Ishmael. Do you think California will have a major earthquake? Thank you. Honestly, like I said, guys, I've been having a lot of prophetic dreams, including the death of my grandmother or her passing on. 6 weeks prior to her passing on, I kind of saw it in a dream, and I knew exactly what month. It was in the beginning of June, and she just passed away this Saturday, which was it was like the end of May, the last day of May, right before the 1st of June. And so it wasn't the dot. So because of that, I have been also having nightmares about huge earthquakes, right? Where there's fault lines everywhere, all the way from the South Bay, Torrance, Inglewood to Whittier, the Pasadena region, in between the city of Los Angeles. I mean, there's fault lines everywhere. These are small fault lines that are connected to the big fault line called the San Andreas Fault. So I've been having a lot of dreams in the last 2 months, back to back, lucid, vivid dreams that California is being shaken and it's going to be shaking. Okay. And this is one of the things that I'm going to be talking about with Jenny Lee. And a lot of it has to do with a lot of evil people that are here at the Getty Museum, that are living in Los Angeles area, Hollywood, right? Hollyweird. I mean, all those people, guys, all those people, a lot of concentration of these evil people, NPCs, huge cabal players, unfortunately, all right, live in the Los Angeles area. And that's why LA and a lot of parts of California eventually need to be wiped out because of the sin. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah. Think about that. But metaphorically speaking, Sodom and Gomorrah was more about detonating the spaceport so that Marduk wouldn't have access to the rest of the galaxy when the Galactic Federation quarantined them. Oh boy. All right. So it's fine. We just want to give a brief explanation. I don't want to go too much into detail. I only have a few minutes left, guys. I've been broadcasting for almost an hour and a half, and I just wanted to thank you guys for being patient with me and for being here. Yeah, I'm excited. And you know what, guys? I wasn't doing very well earlier emotionally. Again, I was going through a lot of anxiety. I was really stressed out because I'm going through a lot in my life right now. But after being on this live with you guys bring my energy up. Look at me. I'm laughing. I'm happy. And yeah, thank you guys for uplifting my energy today. Thank you guys. And my goal is to one day continue to uplift your energy. All right, guys, this is reciprocal. This is reciprocal. When I'm down, you guys get me up. When you guys are down, I'm here to bring you guys up. That's just the way it works. 1 second. I am going to unmute myself so I could blow my nose out of courtesy. There we go. All right, let's continue with the questions. Oh, Lord Anu, a galactic Jedi that goes by the name Lord Anu just said, those who treated us with respect and kindness when the veils were up, you are true, pure soul of source. That is so true. And I think he's referring to all of us here. Thank you so much for stating that. That's right. It's all about love sharing and helping each other up. It's about, in order to qualify into the fifth dimensional earth reality, you have to stop bringing people down. You have to do your part in bringing others up. You have to be service to others, at least 51% or more. No, I'm sorry, at least 51% or more to go to the fourth reality. But to go to the fifth and above, you have to do more than just 51% or more. You have to uplift others. You have to inspire others. If you're not here bringing people up, guys, it's going to be very hard to go to the fifth dimensional earth and above, okay? Ishmael, is your commander source a human hybrid or what we humans call an alien? Good question from Tracy Dodge. Oh, wow. What a last name. Dodge. Department of Government Deficiency. Yeah, Department of Deficiency. Department of Government Deficiency. Anyways, good question. No, he's a straight out six-dimensional being. Many would call an angel in biblical terms, or in modern terms, yes, Commander Valiant Thor is an extraterrestrial, alien, whatever you want to call him. He's not a hybrid. He's completely Venusian. Just looking for questions at the moment. I mean, there are so many questions, but I would like to get to one that I've never answered before. So, I'm getting the same repeated question. Ishmael, is your commander source a human hybrid, or what is he, an alien? Again, he is an extraterrestrial Venusian six-dimensional being from planet Venus. So he's not a hybrid. He's not mixed with human genetics. He is a pure Venusian descent. Commander Valiant Thor. Look him up. There's a good book called Stranger in the Pentagon. Stranger at the Pentagon, which details his interactions with the early White Hats, beginning with Eisenhower, and then, of course, then Kennedy. Do I still believe that the first waivers might be happening this month? I am, based on what I'm hearing, the solar flares, the ending of the 25th solar cycle, reaching the peak of solar maximum this spring before the summer. I'm still convinced that there is a 99.9% possibility that the first wave of ascenders are going to be activating their mutant powers. I mean, their ascending abilities. So that just call us, no, we're not going to be mutants. Of course, they don't call us mutants. They won't.
Homo luminous.
Homo luminous, not mutants, right? That's just for X-Men. That's Marvel's interpretation. But no, Homo luminous. Homo luminous. See, now I'm so happy, guys. You guys brought my vibe up this evening. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you. Again, if somebody's asking, what is the point of the RV if we're ascending? Well, again, not everyone's ascending. Most human Terrans, which is what I call the younger souls, are actually going to be going into the fourth dimensional Earth reality. So they will be needing the RVs because money's still going to be existing in the fourth D Earth, not in the 50 and above. Not in the 50 and above.
Are you going to bring up the red sun?
Oh, yes. It has been brought to my attention. And again, I was kind of compelled and you could say reminded by Commander Valiant Thor that that planet Nibiru, known by many names, the red star Kachina, known by the indigenous tribes, the brown dwarf, known by which is a brown dwarf star, is returning. Okay, and it's already almost in our solar system, which means that the activation of the first waivers are going to be happening as a result of having two suns. So we're going to have our sun, and then we're going to have the second sun known as Wormwood. Even the Bible talked about the brown dwarf planet Nibiru, Wormwood. If you guys study several manuscripts, they talk about this, this star that would return back into our solar system, which is like the second sun. The red star Kachina, Nibiru, it's, different terminologies describing the same phenomena. Somebody's asking me, can we help you? Do you need a place to stay? No, I don't need a place to stay. But yes, every donation that you guys help me with actually helps my cause. Okay. I'm in the process of trying to get a new place. I'm just going to be real, guys. I was evicted from my apartment, and, anyways, I never like to share my personal life with my public life, but I am an open book, guys. Okay. I am an open book. I have nothing to hide. And so everything helps right now. Thank you for that. Thank you for saying that. One of the Galactic Jedis was asking. Hi, Ishmael. What would you say is the percentage of people awake on the planet? Very good question. Because we haven't hit critical mass, and we're about to when the White Hats, starting with the Diddy files, tapes, footage, then the Epstein, 9/11. when all of that comes, one thing after another, it's going to go from 4. Right now, we're at 4 or 5%. It's going to go from 4 or 5%, and that includes all the awakened star seeds and people that are, that are like us. It's going to go from that to about 7%, and then 9%, 10% in a matter of weeks. In a matter of weeks. So if when that happens, and I know it's going to happen, we're going to be witnessing what is known as critical mass effect. Critical mass effect. Stephanie, she says, I will find a way to send you money via cell. There is a way. Through my email, it goes directly to my account. So if you send me Zelle through Project Restoration Zion, it goes directly into my bank account. So I have Zelle connected through my email. So it's project. Oh, thank you. Oh, wow. Valentina Sunshine just pulled through. Thank you so much, sister, for that donation. So, Project Restoration Zion at gmail.com is what connects me, or what allows you to Zelle me a donation. And I went ahead and I actually typed it in the chat. I hope I spelled it right. Project Restoration Zion at gmail.com. Yes, there we go. Thank you so much, Valentina Sunshine. That was very, very generous of you. Big shout out to Valentina Sunshine, who's always been there supporting my cause from day one. She's been one of the most active galactic Jedis, not only on my forum, on my lives. She's been taking my class over and over and over for over a year. Wow, Valentina. All I know is that you're just a huge blessing in my life, and I can't thank you enough. I'm so grateful for you, Valentina. Thank you. Thank you. One of the reasons why I know I'm part of the first waivers, guys, to become a mutant, a Homo luminous, I got to delete the word mutant from my mouth. I've been watching too much Marvel, is the fact that, I was, okay, there was a time during my deep studies of everything, maybe in my late 20s, I was studying this manuscript that was written by the ancient elders, an ancient elder race. And that manuscript is no longer in circulation. One of the chapters was about how, like, the most powerful beings that are down here are the ones that are going to have the hardest challenges. But yet, when the time of transformation takes place, they're going to also be the first ones to acquire these abilities and become extremely powerful. And they're going to use those abilities because of the hardship that they've been through in life. They're going to use those abilities for good. Okay. And of course, they're going to do away with the wicked. So, I forget the name of that book, but it was written by the Ancient Council of Elders, and they talked about that. In a way, these challenges are here to refine us, to make us stronger. So, Jackie Baby just gave me a super chat. Thank you so much. She says, "Are blocking the sun from us?" Yes, the big gates, right? And the cabal, they have been trying to block through geoengineering, right? They're trying to inject some sort of a aerosol spray designed to block the sun rays, because they know of this day. They know about the transformation. They know about the rise of Homo luminous. They don't want that to happen. They're doing everything in their power to prevent that from happening. All right, now, guys, listen. I'm not sure if I'm going to be going live this Saturday. I am moving into a new place, and it's been hard for me. I took a few months to try to save up for a new place. So I don't know if I'm going to go live, but if I do go live, it's only going to be because I was able to hook up a Wi-Fi in my new place. However, if I don't go live Saturday, don't kill me if I don't go live Saturday, because I know a lot of you guys are expecting me, or at least look forward to my lives on Saturday night, right? Saturday Night Live. I will go live Sunday. So depending on when I get my Wi-Fi in my new apartment, I'll be able to go live. So I'm hoping to have Wi-Fi installed by Saturday, so that way I could do my live Saturday as planned. However, in the event that I don't go live Saturday, it doesn't mean that I was taken out. It doesn't mean that I'm neglecting you guys. You know, it's because I didn't get Wi-Fi in the nick of time. So I'm going to do everything in my power to have Wi-Fi in my new place by Saturday. All right. So I'm just letting you guys know at this point, I don't know when I'm going to go live next. Probably Saturday, probably Sunday, but I'm going to play it by ear. And again, it all depends on the Wi-Fi. Okay. Hope is real. Thank you so much for the super chat. She says, Ishmael, I see in my mental eye my body blue color with white light aura. What do you think it means? Blue color is an indicator that you're a blue avian. You're part blue avian. White light aura, that is Lyran and angelic. So that means that you are actually becoming more of your blue avian and angelic self. That is a very good thing. Hope is real. That is a very good thing. Free Spirit 60 or 8008. Thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate all your amazing information and updates, Ishmael. Well, thank you guys. It's an honor to serve. And let me just tell you guys, as long as I have breath in this body, as long as I'm able to speak, I'm going to be always delivering. I'm always going to be sharing with you guys. Okay. So as long as I have breath in my body, as long as I'm able to speak, then I'm always going to be giving to the community as much as I can. Okay. Oh, Night Star Power says, love you, Ish. Love you too. Love you too, brother.
Especially if you have a garden and that you love.
Have that kind of interest. Exactly.
Yeah. But when you are kind to your plants and you're planting flowers and you're, like I had a friend that she would go get little toy houses, little fairy houses and put them out in her trees and out in the, like you would look in her bushes and there would be a whole little campsite set up for the fairies in there. And you could just tell, I mean, her plants were thriving. Everything's thriving because she's just communicating with them all the time. So talk to them, call them in, invite them, put things out there that are pretty. The flowers, they like the flowers, but they like all the things, you know, if it's a vegetable garden, whatever it is. Even create some form of little portal, or if you see an area that feels like it could be a portal to you, then create that. I go sit at my friend Mindy's house and it's like, there's like this creek that runs by one side and you're surrounded by these trees, and then she's got some pasture out to the one side, and it's like, nope, it's over here, and you can just feel it. And when we looked, it was like the trees almost formed this circle, the way that the shrubs and the trees grew together. It almost had like a circular opening, and we're like, that's it. And I kind of feel like they will show you, like, branches will start to droop over like arches, and it's almost like you got to go through this archway to continue on the nature path or whatever. And it's like, oh, there it is. They made it right there. So create something maybe that's like a special entry into your garden that they can come through. Play with them. They'll tell you. Right?
Yeah, that's very cool. It's like I have one little fairy house that I got at it was a market here. It's like a craft fair, and it was so funny because it's kind of funky looking, but the guy was like, "This is the fairy house. It's the only one I've ever done." And I just, I was just playing with something. Well, when he said it's the only one, that gets my attention. I'm like, well, it's my so I put it out there. It's just a pretty orange red, and gives me color in the garden, and it's got a little fairy on it.
Yeah, so cool. When we went camping in that rainstorm, but we, the family camp out in March, I think it was, something like that. It was spring break. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I had this campsite, and I don't know if I shared this with you, but we had a couple of days that were really nice, and we're standing outside of the campsite, and I dropped something. And so I go to pick it up. And when I did, underneath one of the shrubs, somebody had put a little little metal fairy figurine in there. Uh-huh. I was like, oh my gosh, if I hadn't dropped this thing, I would have never seen that. It was kind of tucked away. And I thought, they're letting me know they're here because, and that's one of the things they kind of do too, is they'll hide things or bump things or, they're kind of mischievous sometimes. They can be. That's probably why I like them. But maybe they're the ones that were playing with our internet today and our connections. Maybe that's what's going on. Okay, you guys, you can let our connections happen now. But anyway, yeah, they're a fun energy. They're playful, but they do want us to, they're trying to teach us to respect the earth and to be kind to the plants and not be so clumsy. Oh, I did have a QHHT session around this. I think I shared it before, but the client that came in, she was like, I went to this fairy gathering, like this fae gathering, and it was almost like she was channeling this fairy, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but she was saying things that she didn't even realize she said to all these people, and they're just like, what's wrong with you? But she was like, you're doing that wrong. That's not what the fairies like, blah, 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 blah. So her question was, why did that happen to me?
Yeah.
Well, the answer was that, so this group of people, they love the fairies. So they went to the forest and they all put their tents up and they all made their little village out of, fairy village while they were going to camp out for a few days. None of them asked.
Uh-huh.
They didn't ask, is it okay if we come in and join you? They didn't, and they're stomping around and they're beating down the grass and all the flowers and the pretty things, put their things up. And of course they're making altars. And so then they're putting things on the altar for them. And she said, I'm going around going, fairies don't like that. We don't having these conversations with people and she doesn't even know why she's doing it. And, so what had happened was it was a masculine fairy, and he saw that she was pretty open as a channel. And so he used her to tell the people how they really felt about what was happening. And what it boiled down to was that they weren't being respectful, even though their whole idea was to just go spend time with the fairies. Right. They didn't meditate on it. They didn't ask, may we join you? They came in and they invaded their space. It'd be like somebody not even knocking on your door, but just walking in. Yeah. And unpacking right there and just staying for a while and getting in your food and breaking your things. And
but
so
they're going to pay you and they're going to do it. So they mean well. I mean, they're like, we're respecting them. Their mind, yeah. But they're not invited.
Yeah. They had good intentions. They wanted to spend time with you, but they didn't ask for